Hey guys, so if you're looking to do an update to Human Shader Pack and you're getting pink shaders, basically you want to download the latest, closest version of Human Shader Pack, whatever pipeline you're using. So these are available in my G drive, and you're gonna basically download the Unity package and then just drag it into your scene. If you've already downloaded this through Unity Asset Store, I recommend just remove it so that you get a fresh new import without any duplicates or conflicts or anything. So here it is, I've dragged it in to this space here. I'm just going to click import, and I believe because this is like an alpha version of Unity, it's using a different HD render pipeline version. We will see pink because there'll be shader problems. So this is basically what I have to do to fix it. And if you have Amplify shader editor, like, I recommend buying it because it's super powerful. So let's check out this scene. Okay, so far, let's see, let's make these icons small. So far there's a few, so it is compiling the shaders, but there's a few issues. Until that's finished, we won't really know. This doesn't look like an up-to-date scene either. This might be a slightly older version. But the same thing applies either way, so let it just do its compiling here. Now, if you check out my G drive, there is different versions. There's the 18th of June was the last one that it looks like I updated. When you download from the asset store, you'll get a slightly different version, but it won't matter. The shaders are still the same. So this is taking a little bit of time. So all I'm really looking for is to get the one that's closest to this version of Unity, so 22.3, and the rest of them are older, right? So this is the Human Shader Pack, for example, and that's the closest one to it. If you're on the Unity Asset Store, so let's see, Unity Asset Store Human Shader Pack, it's going to give you a different version, right? It's going to give you this one, which isn't, it's no HDRP with this one. And instead of packaging all the different render pipelines and stuff into the shaders, I've chose to make the whole pack as one. It's just easier for me to manage and know exactly what's going wrong and so on. So you won't get this set up. This is for a built-in render pipeline setup, as far as I know. So this is Unity 2019 long-term support built-in. So you can see at the top left what I've named this. So this is for a built-in one. So you will get pink shaders if you download that one. So let's just see how the compiling is. So the compiling is done, and you can see there's issues with the shader. Now sometimes, if you go in here and you mess with something, you can sometimes see it update. Now there's problems with this. Even though the console is not showing anything, I'm gonna have to update this shader. So what I do now is go to the package manager, window package manager, and because I've already bought, oh, they've changed this. Okay, let's do that. Because I've bought Amplify shader, I'll get that. Okay, Amplify shader pack. So I'm going to download that. The last update was August 13th, which is what today? Seriously, they just updated it. Or wait a minute. Releases. Yeah, don't think it's mentioned here exactly when it was updated, but anyway, it's going to import this. Now it's really hit or miss whether this will work. If Amplify Shader haven't supported HDRP 16 or whatever HDRP version this is using, I can always check that in the package manager to see what it's using. Let that do that. Okay, and it did say something there. I missed it. So if we've got the window, we've got Amplify Shader Pack, start screen, right, it said HDRP 16 for do. An incompatible HDRP was found in this project valid versions. Please note, it doesn't necessarily mean that shaders will fail to compile, but they may require being recompiled. Okay, so that's what I do. I basically recompile shaders. So for example, let's choose this, and then I'm going to go to select shader, right, so that's this one, and it should actually ask me if I want to open it. I'm missing something here. Interesting. Okay, so usually I can edit this. So what I'm going to do is go to Amplify Shader Pack, start screen. I feel like I'm missing something here. Shader catalog, HDRP. Oh yeah, I know that. So something not quite right with this. Let's try create shader, and amplify. So the looks of it is not even installed Amplify Shader, right? Let me just look at the package manager. So we'll look at the Unity registry because I just want to see the render pipeline that we've got. High definition. So this is 16, right? So that's fine. I'm just going to look at Amplify Shader Editor. Oh, that's, do you know what? I downloaded the wrong thing. So there's a difference between Amplify Shader Pack and Amplify Shader Editor, right? Let's just do that. Right, there we go. And we've got support for URP 15. Nothing mentioned about 16, but we'll wing it. We'll see if it works. So this is where there's a bit of a blur between users who are using alpha versions and the core shader system like this, or even just general shader knowledge if you're programming your shaders. There's ambiguity between what's right and what's wrong, because alpha means anything. It could mean, oh, we're going to test some things and things are going to change potentially. Right? They're not set in stone. They're not said, yeah, we've approved it. They're letting you test some alpha features, not even beta features. It's like alpha means unstable, right? Beta means sort of stable, but we still need to test. Okay, and then when it comes into long-term support, essentially it's stable, but they're going to give you more support, right? There's going to be more updates. There's, they'll get a bigger community testing stuff. Okay, so when you start using alphas, it's going to be a bit weird. Okay, so that should be fine now. So I click this, there we go. So open shader editor, and I'm going to basically just move a little node around, and this should go green, right? Go blue, and then I need to make it green by clicking it again. And fingers crossed we get an update to how these look, not black. Okay, that's fine, so that's a good sign. Don't worry about the pink look. So the pink look is coming from this, the diffusion profile, so you just want to click fix. Okay, and I think we need to do it for everything, so there's skin, so it did fix it. So there's a diffusion profile. It doesn't look quite right to me, so that could also be a shader issue. Let's just try switch this to transparent and back. This will force the shader to recompile again. become different things. Okay, so let's try opaque. Right, that's still red. So I think I'll make a new diffusion profile. Okay, it might be the diffusion profiles are out of date, so I do need to do that. So that'll be in rendering, HDRP diffusion profile, and I'll just call this DP skin HDRP16. Okay, and I'm going to go here and drag this one into that slot. Okay, click fix. Still nothing. Okay. So far not looking good. Okay, so they're using that. And the eyes as well. So let's open the shader editor and also recompile. Right, that's somewhat improved the eyes. Let's go to this skin just to make sure, like if it's a different skin shader, potentially it's just the same one. Yeah, SSS6. So this is the diffusion profile. Okay, so that didn't actually fix everything. I'm going to just reload the scene, click save. There we go. Okay, so now it's fine. Just the eyes need looked at. Let's look at those eyes. Okay, so click on an eye and get the shader, open the shader editor, or let's drag that new eye, new profile in there. Yeah, let's fix that. And same for here, so choose the eye, open that up. I can click fix now, that might also work. No, okay, so 16, right. So HDRP 16 is working. I just had to sort of reload the scene, kind of hack my way around it. I'm just going to look at the individual assets. So we got eye shader HDRP and shaders, materials in here, right? And I think this is just the two eyes we're using, the brown eyes and the blue eyes there, so they're fine. Let's have a look at the skin shaders. So materials, yep, that's the two heads. There's a whole bunch of shaders in here usually, but I think, yeah, I just boiled it down to just one now. So that's that. Get the hair shader. That seems to be working as intended. Everything looks good. A little tip with the hair shader, obviously it's going to look a little bit noisy. You can fix that through post-processing, or you can add some dither to it, or you can duplicate the hair and do some transparent mode. So here you can switch it to transparent, right? This will cause different issues to do with depth rendering, right? So you get this problem with the rendering is a bit weird. Right, so I recommend opaque, but another thing that I've added is the, should be here. Okay, maybe it's not. Variator alpha power. So I think it's already using dither amount. I'm just going to update this and show you how I update these things. So if I select the shader, okay, this is actually a shader graph. This here, by the looks of it. Open this. You can see it's shader graph. In fact, wait, it's trying to open like that. So let's see. Shader graph. Why is it not opening with shader graph? Open shader editor. Oh yeah, it's up here, right? So make sure you use this one because you've got Amplify shader and here's shader graph. So we should have the ability to do some dither. So if I do a search for dither, right, there's actually no dither, but it might be called alpha hashed, or so they don't actually have that ability here, and I think this was just a rebuild of the shader using shader graph instead. So we get SG, right? I swear there was another one. Okay, there's Amplify shader there. Apologies for that. So I'm going to open this one. In fact, if we go back to the scene, I'm going to see if I can switch this here out for our one. So HD here shader, HDRP, this one. Okay, and you can see it's obviously wrong so far. It's missing some textures. Okay, so that would be useful. Let me undo that actually, and let's see if there's a material. I'm sure there should be. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to apply that there. There we go. Okay, so this is why Amplify shader is a bit better, because I've added more things here, dither, right, to get a nicer imitation of the fall off. We get alpha clip threshold. You can push the hairs up and things. There's more control with different things. Opacity power, anisotropy. You can't see these until you add light sources, but you want to change these bits. Okay, and you can change the color here. Right, so that will give you a more realistic hair. Plus, remember that you're looking at the editor scene. Okay, so what I like to do is choose the camera. Okay, I've already got a focus point on it there, but if you do Control Shift F, you'll focus on this area. And if you go to the game mode, you get the same thing, but there's different things we can do. Now I can see a few artifacts with this. I'm going to change this display to something 4K. Zoom out a bit. I just made some issues on this with the alpha clip. Let's close that. Okay, that's interesting. I managed to mess something up. I think the shader might need rebuilt, so let's go back into that and rebuild it. So we just want to make sure we're supporting everything new, and that is going even more interesting. So this is what happens with new versions of rendering and stuff. You're getting way too much white in here, and some issues with that opacity. Okay, I just need to move this to a higher point. That seems to have fixed that. We also have bump power, root color, power, glossiness. Let's reduce that. Nope. No. Okay. Anisotropy maybe. Okay, I'm just trying to make this tone here behave a bit better. Turn these strengths right down. I think what it might be is that whatever's happened in HDRP16 is that these have become super sensitive. Right, so you just want to play with the values till you get something that works. Right, you can still move things around position, and yeah, there's literally very low values in here now. Okay, so you see with this view it looks a lot nicer because we're going to double the resolution, and it's making this nice. And we've also got post-process in this as well, right? So post-process will help us alleviate some issues when we use different things like depth of field or vignette or bloom. Chromatic aberration really helps. You can play around with these, but it just makes a little bit of blur. And I think in your, it's either your rendering, I think, yeah, you've got this different different rendering modes. They'll give you different results for anti-aliasing, right? There's some are more expensive than others, but you can play around with those. Let's see, environment, output, okay, all that's fine. I might also have like exposure here, which might be affecting things, tone mapping. Right, so got quite a high exposure there. Right, but that's probably as good as it gets for that. So just bear in mind your scene is always going to look a bit more jagged than your game. When it comes to your directional light as well, you've got like shadows. Okay, so there's should be ability to cast shadows. There's shadows at the back here, but you have contact shadows as well. If you enable that, you can change the quality of those. You'll get some better shadowing there. Okay, you can also go into your project. Let's see, edit project settings. They keep moving stuff here. So in your HDRP, I think it's graphics, or it's here lighting, quality. Oof, there's so many new things now, but maximum directional on screen. Okay, that's the number of directional lights you can have on screen. Area on screen. What we're looking for is the shadows distance. Maximum shadows on screen. Area shadow. Okay, you click this, so all sorts of things are gonna update. But there's things in here you can control to get a better look that you want. The thing I'm looking for is actually the distance. The shadow distance, and that way you can get higher resolution shadows, because if you make the distance very high, the shadows are going to lose quality. Well, let's just move this directional light around. Maybe it's as simple as that to see. Yeah, we've got shadows working, right? They're just a bit strong on the ground, but not so much on the face. Now the reason for that is these have a little bit of self illumination. Don't think that's that one. I'm looking at the right thing. Beetle tin, yeah. So emissive. Could be SSS, like playing a part here, making these brighter, but or even the diffusion profile. So, oh, it actually switched back to an older one. Put that one in there. What's the difference? Okay, slight differences between each. You can go into these and play with the settings, by the way, and you can get different looks that you want. Diffuse shading power, that's quite nice. I think they added this recently. World scale, multiplier. Okay, you can play with those values. And scattering color, things like that. Okay, so there's some things that you can do. Let me just save this. Okay, but it's working now, so thankfully it did work. Don't see any major problems. Just the shadows are a bit brighter in the skin, so I think that's partly to do with maybe the ground not having any self-illumination or something. But I think in general it's it seems to be working. Let's add a point light just to make sure nothing's gone too crazy. Yep. Yeah, I mean these look fine. And I guess we can have this of shadow maps as well. Shadow resolution, shadow multiplier, shadow dimmer. That's the volumetrics, resolution, every frame, enable when you're playing. just don't think these shadows are that strong compared to the directional light. The shadows are very strong in the directional light. And I couldn't really tell you why that is. Directional real time. Obviously we make that brighter. Shadow map, every frame enable. Sure, every frame is fine. Low, so I just changed the resolution of that. We don't have much option for the shadow strength, which, you know, the point lights have got a completely different shadow strength. So we get a little bit of different shadow there. Anyway, these are things I'm sure that will be ironed out, or you can find out for yourself by messing around with values and things. I don't know if this lux value is high or low. There's a little bit of dynamic range. I think that seems to be okay. Right, so that's the shaders working. You don't have the same setup as the one that you download, but once you've got the shaders working, you can totally use that scene with the new heads if you want. This is just one that's obviously more recent in terms of HDRP updates. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.